I'm Jordan Lulich, and this is the Lulich Corner. This morning, we've got the opportunity to sit down with Stephen Hume, he was chairman of the Veterans Council of Indian River County. So first off, Stephen, I appreciate you joining us this morning and chatting a little bit about what is the Veterans Council and what you guys do.
Oh, absolutely. Well, first, I got to start off with a huge congratulations. We have two Knowles in the room.
Yes.
And what a great weekend that was.
It was an absolutely great weekend.
Go Knowles.
Yes.
That was awesome.
Absolutely. It was beyond my expectations.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we do at the Veterans Council, basically where we have direct aid that goes out to the veterans of the county. So right now we are withholding within our grants and donors that we take care of just Indian River County. They must be housed in Indian River County. And as long as they meet that criteria and are an honorably discharged veteran, we can help them. And do you want me to get to the program now of how that works?
Yeah. So how, as far as helping them, there's other organizations and associations out there, and the VA is huge. So, are you essentially offering the same services as the VA, or is what the Veterans Council of Indian River County does a little different from the VA?
So we are different. I like to say we're more quick and nimble, and kind of the problem that you would find when you come out as a veteran, you get told to go to the VA, and the process can be very laborious, and then also take a long time, right? So, maybe up to 24 months, depending on what's going on. Now, if you have a physical or mental problem that's happening that time, it's tough to be seen and where to go. So what we try to do is step in and take care of those situations the best that we can.
So you're offering something a little bit more immediate then?
Yeah, immediate.
Yeah.
And the way we're able to do that is because we don't take in, we're not government assisted. So we have donors and grants that come in from private parties that are able to be directly, mainlined into the veteran, and how that looks. And kind of what we got away from was we want to make a sustainable veteran.
Right.
So where the VA is kind of like, they're going to take care of your overall well-being once you're in the system and you're going through there. What we're trying to do is create a citizen within any River County that's ready to rock and roll from day one. And
sustain himself, right. Yeah. So exactly how do you go about trying to create that sustainability? Through what programs do you guys offer? Are you trying to help these veterans become sustainable?
So we've looked into, what is it we really need to do, and we found out we used to try to help with like paying for a phone bill or paying for rent and stuff like that, but we realized it doesn't make you sustainable. It just puts a Band-Aid on the problem. Right. So we went into a holistic approach that essentially when you have intake, when we do the intake, we give them a list, right? And when I got there, we didn't have a bunch of relationships with others in the county as far as nonprofits and things of that nature. Now we have 133. So when they come in, they get the list, they go through it. One being they have to set appointments down at West Palm, which we provide the buses to drive them down to West Palm to get them going. And then we also have the partners that we'll send them out to, whether it's United Against Poverty or name one of the other litany of the ones out there.
Yeah.
And then once we get down to our final, what is the problem that we're trying to figure out, once they complete that whole checklist, then we provide direct financial aid to whatever it needs to be to get them going, housing or cars or whatever it is that's there. So
you're essentially that hub where you're putting veterans in touch with these other different organizations. Is there another organization you think in the county that offers something like this?
No. From talking to our executive director, people want to model this. So it's something that is talked about a lot, and people have tried, but they haven't got a network big enough to really sustain, to put the model together. So we reach out to Indian River State College. We reach out to the other nonprofits. And we are the hub and spoke, what you just said. So going back to the VA, you get lost in the VA really quick. What we found is if we send someone to the VA and that caseworker quits, their case goes with it. Yeah. And so they have to start all over, right? So we keep that all, in-house as an advocate. So we're able to immediately say, nope, here it is. Let's keep it going again and keep that process rolling. But in the meantime, we're able to help them out through the other entities that we use.
Be able to be a lot more efficient and nimble versus, a larger organization. How does an Indian River County veterans get help? What if they wanted to take advantage of these resources that you're talking about? What's that first step look like?
First step is to contact our office. We have great staff there. We're located in the old courthouse on 14th. Okay. So you can walk in there. You can see our sign for Veterans Council. Basically, walk in the front door, take a left. We're right there. Yeah. You can go to our website, which is Veterans Council of Indian River County. You can Google that, or you can just go type it in .com and go there as well.
And you said, as far as requirements for getting help, you said that you had to be discharged honorably.
Honorably discharged, which also, people kind of get caught up on that. If you were medically discharged or anything, come in.
Yeah.
Essentially, I say, even if you're dishonorable, come in and we'll sort that out, because sometimes there are situations that occurred in a veteran's life that we're able to help out with and actually get that rectified.
Okay.
So you're not saying that everybody wasn't dishonorably discharged, but sometimes things happen. We can help out. We've done that before. We've actually gotten somebody back to honorable.
So I'm a veteran. I call up. I go to your website. I set up some type of an appointment. What does those next steps look like? What does that intake process look like? What should I expect?
So you'll come in, talk with our caseworker right now. Shannon is who's there, and she's absolutely fabulous. She'll go through the whole process with you, what you need to do, where you need to go. And then again, as an advocate, we kind of handhold the veteran through the process. So not only do we say, again, I'm using UP, so free publicity for UP, but we say, head over to UP, right?
Yeah.
But not only do we tell them to head over, we call there and say, hey, this veteran's coming. And then we call back, a little bit later and find out, hey, did they show up? And if they don't, then we call the veteran and say, hey.
Right.
And what we found is it's that nudge, it's that advocate, or, just even like the love of like, hey, we're going to follow you around.
We're thinking about you, and you need to go do this.
And it gets them there. It gets them over that hump. And so it's reducing homelessness. It's reducing the need for, to pay a phone bill and everything, because they're getting jobs and they're, doing well.
So, and I know you were a veteran. Yep. So, thinking about your transition back then and also today, I mean, what do you think are the most common needs of a veteran who's coming back from service and starting to transition to that private life?
Yeah. So right off the bat, the first one's going to be mental health, right? And so immediately people go to PTSD and war fighters, and absolutely, right? Yeah. Obviously. But it's also the strain of going from a culture of where everyone had a mission first. So think about, so your food, your housing, clothing, everything was provided for.
Yeah.
It was just to make sure you woke up, went and did the mission, right? And then you get back and all of a sudden you have no mission. And this could be from an E3, an enlisted individual at the 3rd rank, all the way up to a general. Right. And go through the same thing, because all of a sudden you had this space that was filled.
Everything's provided for you. You have a common goal that you're all working on.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you get thrown into society, which everybody says we love veterans, but doesn't mean they're going to come help you out and show you the way, right?
Right.
So I think the biggest thing when you first come out of that transition is you get a lot thrown at you, go here and help here. When I got out, I was told to live in a homeless shelter for 30 days before I could get benefits. And I just felt like that wasn't accurate and that wasn't the right way to do things. So I went to a church, and what I was looking for was first and last month's rent just to get a place to live. I know everything else would fall in place. But depending on where you fall suit when you get out, they send you back to wherever you're from. You might not have a VSO or Veteran Service Organization or officer that's available. So what's really nice about the council is the way we've modeled it is, we want this to be a vision of the rest of the veterans organizations in the county and also across the state, to where, no veteran left behind. And what that looks like is we help them with that process, right? Because if you don't have an advocate there, unfortunately we're losing 25 to 26 a day to suicide. And so mental health is that first piece. And again, not going PTSD obviously, but even just the transition of, what am I doing? How do I become successful? Who am I now? Yeah. And seeing other veterans that have gone through it, I think helps a lot.
It's a change of identity. I mean, you're going 100%. from being in that zone, in that mode, to now society. That's a transition, and it's a new identity because you're no longer doing the same things that you were before.
100%. And let's say you're a tank commander.
Right.
Well, you're not going to be a tank commander in the civilian world, right?
No.
And unfortunately, sometimes people, I'm a professor as well, and so I see how these skills translate, and it takes somebody else knowing, like, you were a tank commander, but really what that meant was you were a leader. You have the values to be able to do certain things, maybe be a good lawyer because you'd be able to figure out how to help people, because it's a tough situation to be in a tank and small enclosed, how do those skills translate? So to have somebody as an advocate to actually talk to the veteran, oh, that does make sense. Yeah, I do feel that way. Because they won't think of that themselves.
So you're helping. So the Veterans Council helps veterans find a path for that transition piece.
100%.
Okay.
100%. And my thing is, we want to get you before you end up in that crisis. Yeah. Before you're constantly in that fight or flight mode of like just trying to survive. We want to get you right from the beginning. So we're trying to work with different groups to really get us into close bases. So Patrick, there's a group. Our program called TAPS, the Transition Assistance Program, that they give to you when you're getting ready to get out. It's like a 3-week class. We're hoping to get into that so people can know, because I love to bring more veterans to the county, right? And and ultimately a sustainable veteran, I think where I get into this morally is, I think we've lost a lot of our leadership out there, and because they're there, but they don't know how to
utilize it.
Yeah, and transition into and I think they're all out there waiting. And if we can get them, I think we'll end up with a lot more leaders in our county and a lot more people that, business leaders, business owners, because they'll get that confidence.
Right.
Essentially that's what it is. Like, you can do this.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they did it before. Absolutely. So a couple last questions. I mean, to do all this, it sounds like there's certainly money that it takes to operate and provide these resources to the veteran. So how exactly do you obtain your funding to be able to function and to be able to have these case managers and executive directors and offices and such?
We've been really lucky with donations, and I'll totally give the credit to the gentleman that started this organization back in the 80s, and a lot of people might know Marty Zickert. Building those relationships. The Colonel was able to get a lot of donations, right, and some grants. So where we're starting to pivot now and become bigger, we've been about a $500,000 organization. We're looking at becoming $1.5 million over the next 2 years, $5 million over 5 years. And to get to that way, we will have to start going towards state appropriations, where we have found, though, that the mental health area at the state level is huge and covers quite a bit of money, right? So we're hoping that with our program and its proven success, we'll be able to go to the state, go to maybe even the county level, depending on what they have there, and bring in some more money to be able to actually house this, right, and create an actual campus is what we look at it, in the future, right? So money-wise, people ask me, like, well, what's the monetary value of one veteran? Well, every story is different, right?
So can you share with us some success story?
Absolutely. So, and this is a long-winded one, and I won't be. I can do that. So we had a gentleman who we had denied originally because he was homeless, because he didn't have an IRC address. So what we did is we decided to go back, look at case studies that we had denied, and saw that homeless was one of the big ones. And that was just because they didn't have a physical address to get the money from the grants. Now, we were able to learn that HUD vouchers could work out in the same way. So you apply for a HUD voucher, then you can get a place in Indian River County, right? Mm-hmm. Problem with the HUD voucher, it goes through the VA, and this gentleman that kept losing his case. He was sleeping in his car, had outdated tags. We ended up losing track of him. We can't find him. And so we had some board members started making calls at sheriff's offices, and obituaries were where we were at. Like, this is Gabby, what's going on? So we find out that he had gotten picked up by St. Lucie Sheriff's Department. We went down, got him out, kind of went ahead and made this decision to start going this way with this direct aid. Went to the council, sought to put him in a hotel until we could get him the house, because this was just not working out. And two congressional inquiries, by the way, Posey did on the VA, lost him both times. So it wasn't the fault of the veteran. This was circumstances the VA just didn't help. So we housed him. We got him into school at IRSC. We got him a job, and he found an apartment unfortunately in Brevard, because we couldn't find any housing here. But now he's up there rocking and rolling, going to school full time, has all of his benefits, served 2 tours in Afghanistan, so he's 90% disabled, and it changed his life.
Sustainable, yeah.
Sustainable. And it went from, in court that day when our director went to go get him, he said that was going to be one of his last days. And so we take that in pride. And I always tell everybody, you don't know if you've permitted or stopped a suicide. It's impossible to know that. But you know that if you don't help, that that it's not there to take care of them. So that's one of our big success stories.
That's
now
awesome.
We have about 100 of those.
Yeah.
And it's working that checklist. And that guy, he used to always tell us, he's like, my hamster's going. He's like, I'm just running into the wall. You know? He was doing everything he could right, and this the circumstances kept hurting. But without us there, I think we would have it might not have been lost to suicide, but lost to the world. Right. And now I'm hoping one day I always tell him, I hope you're mayor one day or something like that, because I just feel like there it is, full circle. Or I tell him, like, chairman of the Veterans Council one day. Yeah. So.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So if you're looking for more information, how can people visit and learn more about the Veterans Council of Indian River County?
So I just say go directly to our website. Just Google Veterans Council of Indian River County. And you will find us, and you'll find our information and our numbers there. If you want to donate, like I said, we take mainly donations in right now. Or if you are in the grant business, you have a grant or something you think we could apply for, please reach out to us. Our director's name is Cynthia Ryan, and she'd be happy to talk to anybody.
All right. Great cause, and you learn more about it. Thank you for listening. And I'm Jordan Lulich with the Lulich Corner. See you next time.